Good morning and welcome to the Maker Studio Facebook page. I'm Cheryl and I create over on the Home of My Making Facebook page. But I'm on this page this morning to show you the new release stencil that we are offering today. Yay! So let me get my glasses on. So today's stencil that we're releasing is called Just For You. Let me see if I can get that so it's not in the light. So there's about 8 different sentiments on here. Let's celebrate, for you, congrats, just for you, enjoy, thank you. Let me see what the other ones are. Another thank you, and with love. So these are 8 little different sections of this stencil. They're about 2.5 by 3, this little piece right here, and then you get 3 little embellishment stencils. So this is what we're going to be working with today, and it's newly released as of right now. So go order it because it's sure to sell out, because this is going to be great for the upcoming holiday season. You can make gift tags with this, your own gift tags, and you can add them to some bags, and there's a lot of things you could do, note cards and everything. So speaking of note cards, that's what we're going to do today. So as you hop on, let me know where you're from, and don't forget to tag 3 friends so you could be in the running for one of these stencils that we're giving away today. So all you have to do is tag 3 friends, and then you will be in the drawing for this stencil. So let me show you what I'm going to do. So today I'm going to start with a note card, and I'll show you how I did that. So it looks like it's a little bit watercolored over here, and then I used the stencil over here. So I'll show you how I got that effect. Now, the first thing I did was get some note cards. You can get them anywhere, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's, anywhere. And I am using a cream colored card just because I like that aesthetic with the colors that I'm using. Now, you could change out any of the colors and make it your own, because I am going to be using the gel art ink today. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the note card. Now, you could do it this way or you can do it this way. I chose to do it in the long way. So what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some tape. Now, this is a delicate surface tape. It's by Frog tape, but what the purpose of saying that is you don't want to get like a really strong tape on paper, because you're not going to be able to rip it off without tearing the paper. So use some sort of tape that is conducive with paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to tape off about 1/4 of this card. I'm just going to eyeball it. Going to try to make it straight. So this is what I got. So I'm just going to put that tape down right there. Now, the reason why I'm using tape is because I want to have that crisp line going down the side of the card. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to gather my supplies. I need some water, a little tray to mix the gel art ink. I am going to use 2 gel art inks. One's the metallic copper and one is Grass is Always Greener. Now, you could use any combination you want. The blue gel art ink with the gold would look just as fabulous. So I'm going to use that. Got a couple of brushes. I'm going to need a spreader, and I'm going to need a scissor. So I gathered all my supplies. I got my card taped off. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take an artist brush. I'm going to dip it in some water, and I am going to put it against the side of the lid. Now, what I'm going to do is, since the tape is here on this side, I'm going to work out. I don't want to push everything towards the tape. I want to push it out because I don't want it going under the tape. So the first thing I'm going to do is just apply a little bit of water on the card. Now, this technique, you do want to take your time. Every one of them is going to come out different. And also, you usually want to let everything dry in between each layer. So after I got it just a little bit wet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a little bit of the green into this little container. I am going to just go ahead and put the gold in there for now, just a tad. And then I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to drip some water in here. And I'm also going to add just a little bit of water to this. And I'm going to smush it around. Now this is where the variables come. Every time you do this process, it'll come out different because it's not a perfect process. And you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to dip my brush in the water. I'm going to go back into here. Now I do have it kind of loose in here. Let me get a little bit more water. I'm going to brush it against the side. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take my brush and I'm going to roll it. Now remember, I'm working away from the tape. Don't roll towards the tape because I don't want anything to get brushed under there. So I'm just going to roll. And I'm going to do it in different directions. Now I can roll towards the tape as long as I don't touch the tape. And I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm going to take a little bit of this color and move it to this so I can get it more watered down. Just keep adding more water. Usually before I apply the brush to the paper, I do offload it on the side. So I'm just rolling, just roll. It's such a relaxing process. Just rolling. Every time you do it, it would come out different. Remember to work away from the tape though. That's one thing I would suggest. So now what I'm going to do is normally you would let this dry and then you would come back. But because we're on a live, I'm going to get my heat gun and just dry it. So those of you that are just joining us, don't forget to tag 3 friends so you can be in the drawing for this stencil. Now normally you would just walk away and let this dry and then continue on to the next step when you come back to it. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to add a little bit more water to this and I'm going to hit it one more time, pretty much just rolling again. Now you'll see the shading of it when you do this. And you don't have to cover the whole entire section. I like some of that blank space on there. I think it just adds some more character to it. So there you go. So here's what I have so far. If you look, I just have some shaded gel art ink on 1/4 of the project. So I'm going to release this tape and you'll see how it gave me a crisp line. Just removing it gently. I do not want it to rip my paper. And remember, this isn't even watercolor paper, it's just cards. So you can do this same effect on watercolor paper and it would look fabulous. So what I'm going to do is, I did have one that I already done. And I put it to the side, the one that I just did, because I need it to be dry. So here you go. This is what I have. Again, came out much different than that, much different than that. There you go. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. Now, you don't have to do this, but you can. I'm going to add some water to this side over here. And then I'm going to take a really fine brush and I'm going to dip it in my copper and then I'm going to dip it in the water. And I'm just going to make like little squiggly lines, almost like some veining into this marbleized effect. I just dipped it back into the water. I am kind of doing a rolling effect and I don't have no rhyme or reason where I'm putting it, but you could do it as much as you want or as little as you want. And if you don't want to do the veining like that, and have that look like that, you could just do this copper line right down along that edge and just have a different look. So there you go. That's what I wanted to achieve. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a little bit of water and I'm going to go over some of it so it's a little bit watered down. exactly where I did. And I just dipped the brush into the water and just went over what I applied in the copper. It just gives it a little bit of more bleeding effect. Okay, so there you go. So see, isn't that sweet? So now what I'm gonna do, now it's the stencil time. So let's see, what do I want to do? I think I'm gonna do the Let's Celebrate one. So I'm just gonna cut the stencil out, keeping the backing on it. All these stencils are a tri-mesh stencil, and they are adhesive, and they come with a backing. So what I did is just cut it out. You still have the backing on it, and the tri-mesh stencil is still attached. So I'm gonna release it from the backing, and I'm gonna center it, or try to center it anyway, in the middle of this card. Now normally I'd wait for that to dry. It's almost dried, the copper part anyway. I'm gonna burnish this down, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a spreader and I'm gonna make it a little smaller, because I prefer to use smaller spreaders in a smaller area. Then I'm gonna take some of my copper, metallic copper, gel art ink, and just put a very little on this spreader. As you see, just a little. My preference is to just apply a little, and if you need to go back and get more product, get more product. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn it so I can get this on here. I'm gonna hit it. I like to hit it in the gray area. I don't like to put my first pass of the spreader where the stencil opening is, and then just push it through. And what I'm looking for, since the surface is a cream color, I know if I don't hit the product through there, it would look cream. So I'm just looking to see if I see any cream. If I don't need to keep going over it. If I do see any cream, which is the surface color shining through, then I know I missed it. But my approach of less is more. I don't feel like you just got to keep wiping it. So there you go. Now I'm going to lift up my stencil. I do have a water bath that I'm going to be able to put all these in. I do have it down here. I'm just going to put it in a water bath. For those of you that know, the way to wash the stencils is you could go run them under water. But for me, since I'm on a live, I have a water bath down here that I just put them in until I get done. And then I will go and rinse it under a sink. So here's what it looks like. Isn't that beautiful? Now, I'll tell you, that copper gel art ink is a really special color, and I like the way it looks with the green gel art ink marbleizing effect. So that's what I have. So as you see, I did one ahead of time. This one says enjoy, and then this one says let's celebrate. Now what I did, just for a little something something, is of course the cards come with an envelope, and what I went ahead and did, especially on this one that I pre-did, is I did the flat, the same process, same exact process as I did the card, except I only did it on the flat. So I just took this line as my guide and I did the color on there. So the only thing I need to do on here is I'm going to add a little bit of that gold, or excuse me, the copper veining to the outside of this one. And then it will look like just like the card that I did. So there you go. So it looks just like the card. Isn't that special? So you can go ahead and make a whole bunch of these. You could tie them off with a ribbon and give them as a gift, or you can use them for any upcoming occasions that you have. Because if you're like me, I don't know why cards are costing $6 and $8 nowadays, but we can make our own, so we don't have to pay that price. So one thing I want to do with this is I'm just going to add, I'm going to dry this, and then I'm going to add, remember I told you that they had little embellishments down here? So I think I'm just going to take one of them, take this middle one, and I'm going to take the bronze gel art ink, and I'm going to add this little stencil to the back of here, just to embellish it a little bit. I'm going to take, I do have a little bit of bronze left on here, so I'm going to use that. And then that little embellishment will be on the back of the envelope. I'll put it in my water. There you go. And there you go. Isn't that sweet? So here's what I have. An embellished card with a little bit of marbleizing effect with some bronze veins in it. And then I did the same thing to the back of the envelope. So can you imagine these given as a gift to somebody, as a even like a housewarming gift or a hostess gift, or even sending this to somebody and they receive this and know that you made this from scratch. So I think that's pretty special. So don't forget to go ahead and tag 3 friends, and you will be in the drawing for this special stencil. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thank you for joining me here on the Maker Studio page. Have a great day.